Can you hybridize traditional IP and CLA pedagogies for better results? Thank you for joining me on this, my journey into the constraints-led approach for BJJ. My name is Sam Battlefields, and today I'm going to try and be a little bit more conciliatory, hybridizing CLA with the traditional IP method. I've gone quite hard on the traditional method.
Ooh, you're hard.
And realise this might not be the best way to onboard those new into ED-CLA. As I've said before, I was barely through How We Learn to Move and Learning to Optimize Movement by author Rob Gray when I started my foray into the CLA world. I was making a ton of errors by my current standards, including direct upfront instruction, and realise I've only become better at coaching by increasing my knowledge and applying a test and measure scientific approach to CLA. So I figured if I promote that as an ideology without the middle finger, I might be better at enticing people in who are actually interested in getting better at coaching. But without the raw reality that you have to work for it, I understood that I might be luring people in with a false sense of purpose, and they'd shit up the arena, which has actually been happening as people have started to pollute CLA by simply not doing the actual work that makes someone a CLA coach. One of the best things I ever did was actually create this channel and just started reviewing my own classes. I was able to get my own musings out and go on tangents that helped me think through what happened on a public forum, yet in my private office. Every so often someone comments and brings something to my attention from my earlier videos, and I get to see it through a more sophisticated CLA lens months after the fact.
Oh, man.
And I also get to cringe at how I was doing things back then. I just want people to respect the material. If you want to stick to whatever you're doing in class at the moment, go for it. Dead drilling and useless instruction, fine. Maybe you want to play a game or two. Sweet, you're an adult, or at least you should be. Go to bed, you little shit. Having a hybrid CLA IP model appears to be where people are heading though, mostly because they're discovering that CLA actually does work, and they can no longer shit on it. So they'll just say something like, "We've always done this type of training," and then they'll do games based loosely on Kit Dale's task-based games. And yeah, it'll result in a few more alive touches during class, which of course will lift the levels of everyone. And in all their promotional material, they'll say some bullshit about how their school adopts a scientifically backed ecological approach to learning jiu-jitsu, emphasizing both the techniques and the underlying principles. But I'll be blunt.
You're beautiful.
It shits me to tears hearing people call it the ecological approach, because it's lazy. There, I said it. It shows you can't even use the basic of base terminology. Ecological dynamics and the constraints-led approach. That's why I can't take people seriously when they have criticisms on the pedagogy. And it's getting worse. Some gyms are out there calling themselves CLA focused and literally fucking up baseline definitions. I won't call him out because it's not his fault, but someone came to me the other day talking about a wind condition, W-I-N-D. I assumed he meant win condition, W-I-N, and conversed appropriately, but no, apparently he'd been told by guys at his CLA gym about these wind conditions that when he described them, I realized he meant environmental constraints. That's really fucking worrying, because if that level of Chinese whispers is happening now, I've heard about these things called environmental constraints. Earth, fire, water, wind conditions. What the fuck is going to happen next year? A bunch of uninformed people running around, filling their classes with situational sparring games, with no structure, rhyme or reason, and calling it CLA, or a CLA hybrid, fucking it up for those who are actually trying to follow the science. Taking money out of my goddamn pocket. I can't commit to fully hating on them though. Hell, the only reason why I was able to pivot so hectically is that I have a small class, and I'm at the beginning of my coaching journey. Will a hybrid approach work? Sure, as much and maybe more so than the traditional IP approach will. But why? Why would you go, oh yeah, I reckon I can play some games after the 15-minute diatribes that I've just done with the step-by-stepping and blah blah blah. Those guys are making it work. Why can't I? I'll just add it into my normal classes and then not look at the underlying reasons why it works. Why wouldn't you want to look into it further? From the perspective of being the best coach you can be. I realize people are set in their ways, but it feels like hubris to me. As I've said previously, resting on the laurels of your lineage. It reminds me a bit of my old man telling me that I need to eat a big bowl of pasta the night before a big basketball game, wake up feeling sluggish as fuck, and perform like shit. Or him giving me a weights regime from the 70s that he used for bodybuilding that I needed for playing rugby in the 90s. Outdated and out of touch with modern technology and science. If only the internet was more prevalent back then, I could have been one of the greats. Although, if you want to say that you want to start out with a hybrid IP CLA until you learn more, I fully support you. It's hard to pivot, I get that. And it's even harder to pivot if you're not yet confident in the product that you're looking to pivot to. Explore, research, read the books I've mentioned from Rob Gray, watch one of my previous videos about how to start, subscribe to this channel, like every video, comment too if you have a question, share it round, please. Join the Discord. If you're serious about becoming a better coach or a better practitioner, you'll need to learn some of the theory that underpins the practical. Otherwise, you'll just be the guy that's throwing a few games into class, diluting CLA, while CLA could be the best thing that happened to you in your gym. If you think that I'm wrong, I'd love to have you on. Go to battlefieldsgrappling.com.au and fill in the form. Everyone else, like, comment, subscribe.